Oh, okay. Let me pause here and we delve in details, experience or explore together. When a movie moves us to tears, or when we are so excited that we cannot wait for the next scene, we discover that we have been immersed by this movie's mood. We know that characters are not real, we also know that we are not really in any immediate danger. Yet, cinema and other forms of art, like literature, painting, can drive us into the same depths of feeling that we already experience in our own lives. This brings us to an important question: how to touch those feelings, how to create an emotional relationship between the audience and the movie, or the content and the viewer. Well, basically creating a mood and dragging your audience into it. And the question is how to create that mood. There are so many elements that helps you to create a mood, such as costume, dialogue, setup, lighting, sound design. But in this particular video, I'm going to talk about color correction. When it comes to color correction, I either do it on my own from the scratch or I use LUTs. The first option is a bit frustrating though. You have to know all these little adjustments, you have to understand the color combination, or generally you have to be familiar with that color grading section on DaVinci. Otherwise it's just waste of time. And unfortunately I'm not one of those nerdy people who go through all these little adjustments and fine touch. Instead I use LUTs because they help me to save a lot of time, and I think they look pretty fine on my YouTube videos. If they don't, just let me know in the comments. Anyways, but whenever I try to create a mood with color grading, I just mess it up because I am not really good on color grading. That's why whenever I do a serious project or whenever I do a commercial project, I have to pay to colorists. Recently, I discovered that I may or I can, I don't say I will, but I say I may and I can become my own colorist. Recently, I got an email from a company called Dehancer, which produces plugins and effects, generally film emulations for photo, as well as the video editing software such as Premiere, After Effects, DaVinci, Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, Capture One, and Affinity photo editing softwares. Pretty cool, huh? They work almost on every editing software except the CapCut. And I don't think for CapCut we need extra effects because they have hundreds of effects. Anyways, in the email, I was offered to try one of their plugins and share my honest review and opinions with you guys.
Ooh, that's a bingo!
And I say yes, because this was an opportunity to try, experience, and see if I still have enough potential to become my own colorist. However, I don't want to apply these plugins onto these particular footages that I shot specifically for this test drive, or let's say for this content. I really want to use them together with my archival footages. Those archival footages that I shot 6, 7 or maybe 8 years ago, back then when I had no idea how to expose S-Log or generally how to expose a camera. I was looking through the camera LCD and I was thinking, okay, it looks fine, let's continue with this. By the way, I haven't chosen a package or plugin yet because I don't know which one is going to work better with some contemporary or let's say properly exposed shots, as well as the archival footages which are done in a completely wrong way, most of the time with a wrong white balance or in a poor lighting condition. That's why I'm so excited to see if there's any chance, any potential, any power by Dehancer to bring them back to the life. Alright, let's see the options and choose one of the packages, and then we decide whether it's worth it to spend your time and money. 2, 3, 1, yalla. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Dehancer. All I'm going to do is to apply those plugins or film emulations and see what comes out as a result, and also of course share my honest opinions with you. All I'm going to see, you're going to see the same, so let's start it. Once you go to dehancer.com, there's already a message on the landing page calling you to download and get free trials. After 7 days, either you have to pay for subscription or finish it because it comes with only 7-day trial. As I already mentioned, they have film emulations for video at the same time for photo editing softwares. But here on the website, we go for video and then we can compare their packages. Basically, their most advanced package is the Dehancer Pro, which costs 450 USD lifetime. Per year it's 299 USD. And some people claim that it's a bit expensive, especially for content creators. And I do agree, it is expensive. That's why we're trying to find an answer. Is it worth it or not?
Yes, of course!
All right, let's continue. The installation is quite easy. You just click next, next, next. Once you open your software, you have to apply some changes which are advised by the Dehancer. So you go to the settings of your project and then to color management. Then you change the color size to DaVinci YRGB and then keep the rest as you see on the screen. So I don't really mess up, as I said, I'm not a specialist. So I keep the essentials as the Dehancer suggested in the PDF, which comes together with the license or free trial. I'm gonna start with this shot. I think it's HD, not even 4K. Anyways, you search for Dehancer. Once you throw it, it comes by default like this, and all the sections are open. It's a little bit, hard to find what you are looking for. That's why it's better to close them. You don't go one by one. On Mac, you press on Option. On Windows, I think Alt. And then if you click on any of it, it's gonna close all down. And then select the camera, which is Sony, and then A7. There's no A7C. I guess A7C is CR. And let's look to. Alright, this section is where you can adjust the original values, which comes with the file, with the original file. And then we're going to switch the other sections one by one. So, do we want to play with the exposure? I don't think so. It looks pretty fine. Temperature is fine because I shot it in, I think, 5600 Kelvin. And then film, Kodak Vision 250, which is, I would say, the right one because 250 daylight, but we can try 50 daylight, which looks completely different, which is not bad. But in this case, I think I like 250 more because it's like the grain is more visible, which is very important for me. Then we can pull it, see the effect of the film emulation, so you can increase or decrease it. The next one is the film developer. In this section, I leave everything as it is except the contrast boost, only if I need it after we select the film print. That's why I don't touch anything here, disable it, and then I go with the film compression. This one basically reduces the highlights. If I disable it, as you see, highlights goes up, which goes pretty well. So I'm going to enable it. What part of the picture is being affected by this film compression effect? And color density, I don't see much difference when I play with color density, so I'll leave that one also as it is. Expand, black point, color mode, Luma or normal. I don't touch that. Let's leave it as it is. The print, yeah, this section is the most exciting one because we're going to apply the final print look on our image, and that's going to be probably Kodak Endura Glossy. I really like this. I think I should a little bit increase the saturation, color density, a little bit up. Total contrast is fine. I think a little bit more. Exposure is fine. So I think here I need to go back and increase the saturation. Where's the saturation? All right. There are 13 more sections, but I'm not going to talk about all of them. However, before switching to another chapter, I want to mention a few things. And the first one is the film grain. Film grain is just unbelievably pleasant on this plugin. It analyzes the color, it analyzes the highlights, shadows, and everything, and then generates according to the information you provide with your footage. And that is something which really looks like an old vintage film. Otherwise, some grains, they're just moving dust on the screen and looks really like flat layer on your footage. But this one, as you can see, by the way, it comes by default, it comes enabled, and it may affect the performance of your computer. If you have some tough times while editing, you better turn it off so you don't struggle when you edit. And in this section, you can change the style, at the same time adjust the amount of the grain that you want to apply to your footage. And it comes with more than 10 different grain style, which are 8mm with different ISO types, and then 16, 35 and 65mm. And if we play with the amount, we can see it's almost none. And then we increase, it becomes really dusty. We better keep it around 40, something like that. And the next one is the halation. If I enable it, we can see on the screen how does it affect film damage. We don't want to. All right, film breadth and vignette, monitor output, and so on. And here I think you can apply the license if you decide to get paid one. By the way, I will leave 10% discount link in the description, so if you're up for one, you can help me to grow the channel and create more content. As I said, as a not specialist on color grading, this one looks pretty fine for me. So let's try it on the next shot, and this is how it looks like on the next shot. But with this one I went for 50D because 200D doesn't really look well. That's why I keep it with 50D. Here I'm not going to play with the film compression because I don't want to kill the contrast, so I'm keeping the highlights as they are. If I enable, as you can see here, the contrast is down. And then with the print, let's see. Nice, that's good. Now gloss is much better. All right, let's find the print. So press the option and then we come to print. Why do we come back to print? That's maybe because I'm sleepy. It's 2 AM in the morning. All right, now we can apply it on an archival footage, aka incorrectly exposed footage. Let's throw it and see how will it look like. Again, same camera with A7 III and in HLG3 mode. And then we select, what should we select? I don't know. Let's try C 200 tungsten. Was it? I wouldn't say 500. Looks better. Again, here I'm not going to use the film compression because I don't want to lose that contrast. And with the film expand, I am going to increase the black a little bit. And then we come to the most exciting part. Let's see if we increase the tonal contrast and color density. And yes. Now I'm going to apply it to a few more shots and then share the results together with my opinions with you guys. My own experience in developing this content has been both challenging and enlightening. The post-production stage, particularly color grading, can be as frustrating as it is essential. It often feels like a back and forth game with the colorist, bouncing ideas and adjustments until you achieve the desired result. This process can be quite tedious and isn't always everyone's favorite way to work. However, when I discovered this plugin, things changed. As you witnessed, with just a few tweaks, I could achieve a stunning vintage look with beautiful colors and expertly crafted film effects like grain and film scratches. So, is it better than having a professional colorist work on your video? It depends. This plugin doesn't completely replace the need for a colorist, but it offers fantastic options, especially for achieving that old vintage look. Let's get back to our two main points. Is it worth it? I definitely think so. At the very least, you should try the 7-day trial. Sometimes we pay a lot to get that perfect look, and while it's possible to achieve it with software like DaVinci Resolve, not everyone has the expertise to work with complex graphics and tools. For those who struggle with these technical aspects, Dehancer is a great alternative. As I mentioned a few times in the video, I was really curious to see how it would work on incorrectly exposed footage. For instance, the footage from the hospital had messed up white balance and exposure issues. To be honest, it wasn't the best color picture profile. HLG is really difficult to work with. My reflection on this point is that it is also a great tool for covering technical mistakes in post-production. Yes, thank you Dehancer for creating such a great tool for content creators and filmmakers to level up our products. And of course, thank you for joining me on this exploration of post-production techniques and tools. If you found this video insightful, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing with fellow content creators and filmmakers. Until next time, keep trying, keep creating, and keep pushing the boundaries of your craft. See you in the next one.